Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare. Jaya Nimai Nitai, Jaya Nimai Nitai, Nimai Nitai, Jaya Nimai Nitai. Jaya Nimai Nitai, Nimai Nitai, Nimai Nitai, Jaya Nimai Nitai. Jaya Nimai Nitai, Jaya Nimai Nitai, Nimai Nitai, Jaya Nimai Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nimai Nitai, Jaya Nimai Nitai. Jaya Nimai Nitai, Jaya Nimai Nitai. Jaya Radha Nil Madhav Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हिज होलीनेस श्रील रूपपाद स्वामी महाराज की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Krishna Krishna. We got a little echo. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschachade Satarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Well, as you can see on the screen, this is part 2. And probably some persons were here for part 1, and probably some persons were not here for part 1. Too bad. But I'll make a little summary, very, very short and simple. The pastime of Krishna's killing the demon Agha was subsequent to Krishna's killing the brother and sister of Agha. We don't know too much about their parents, but this Asura and that Asura and then a third Asura. So we can assume the tree was not a good tree bearing the fruit of 3 Asuras. And there was a motivation, in addition to being one of Kamsa's henchmen or hitmen, Agha had a get back purpose. He wanted to get back at Krishna because Krishna killed his brother and sister, and he was the elder brother, and you got to protect younger brother, younger sister. So he wanted to kill Krishna with a vengeance. And he had mystic powers. One of those mystic powers was he could change shapes at will, as did his younger brother. Aghasura assumed the form of a baka, or a crane, and his younger sister, Putana, who was a witch, that assumed a form that looked like the goddess of fortune, until she was killed. Then she showed her real form. It was really horrendous. But shape-changing, Putana could fly in the sky. You know, they had powers. And one of the ways we introduced this pastime was by hearing someone reciting this verse by Rupa Goswami from his Stavamala, a garland of prayers, where he's expressing humility and then expressing hope. So it's very nice, and if technology cooperates, it's going to work. Let's just see if technology cooperates. Let me see if I can make the volume bigger. Better. Not much, but a little bit. Can you do something with the volume? Okay. The volume is coming from over here, not my computer. Let's see what happens. There, that's good. She'll say again. Pause. Pratichim agaharatavakarnyavichim. Pause. So there's two parts. I'll read the translation. I am very weak and lazy to do even the smallest devotional service. So when I hear of the peerless and difficult to perform services performed by the great devotees in ancient times, my heart burns with despair. Oh, what is their hope for me? But O Lord, O killer of Aghasura, when I hear that your waves of mercy splash on everyone, from the demigod Brahma down to the most insignificant creature, then my heart becomes sprinkled with a cooling drop of hope. Nice poetry. So the mercy of Krishna is pouring down like waves of mercy, splashing this and that. Mentioned in the verse is Brahma, because the pastime of the killing of Aghasura is followed by Brahma Vimohan Lila, and then another chapter, the prayers of Brahma. So he got mercy, waves of mercy splashing on everyone from Brahma down to the most insignificant creature, then being touched by, sprinkled by a cooling drop of that splashing mercy. I have hope. So the scene from part one, Krishna did a couple of unusual things on purpose. One, he didn't have breakfast at home. He requested his mother and she complied. And the request was, I want to have lunch, I want to have breakfast out in the forest with the other cowherd boys. That was one unusual. And then another, she didn't have to wake him. He just woke up. And he got up very early in the morning, took his bath, and got his buffalo horn and real loud sound and woke up all the other cowherd boys, and they knew what it meant. It's time to go be with Krishna. So they got up and hurried, and they were ready to go. And then there was a third, and that is Balaram had to stay home. Now we heard three different reasons why Balaram had to stay home, but different acharyas commenting why, but he had to stay home, so he wasn't there. There was a very important part of this today's pastime. Today's pastime is Krishna is in a dilemma, and Balaram could have rescued the dilemma, but Balaram wasn't there to rescue the dilemma. So it was Krishna had to be without Balaram for the day. But it was purposeful what happened the rest of the day. So Balaram wasn't there. 3 things. So when the cowherd boys heard the buffalo horn of Krishna blowing, they knew what to do. They all assembled, and there was this scene of Krishna counting the cows. You remember that? Those of you who were with us yesterday. How many cows? Asankyataha. I mean, there must have been some finite number, but such a big number, you couldn't count them all. And there were a lot of cowherd boys. 10,000 cowherd boys. That's a lot of cowherd boys. Now 10,000 cowherd boys and countless number of calves, where'd they all fit? And that was another thing we discussed. It's important, it's a prelude to what's going to happen later, but it's not going to happen today, it's going to happen tomorrow. But just stay with it. The spiritual world, the Vrindavan of this world is a manifestation of the Vrindavan of the spiritual realm. And the spiritual realm has spiritual potency. And spiritual potency has no limit. It's without limit. The potency of Krishna without limit. The potency of the Dham, the potency of a particle of dust is without limit. The particle, anything in the spiritual realm. It's an important teaching. So some tattva is laced or mixed with the lila, but we have to bear in mind that there's going to be some remarkable things happening, but it's easy for Krishna. Very easy for Krishna. So now we completed that section, now we're going to the playfulness of the cowherd boys. So the age, this is important, 4 years, 4 months. What's his age?
He's 2.5.
2.5. Add 2.5 times 2.5. That's how old Krishna was. How old are you?
He's 8.
You're 6.
8.
You're 8. My gosh. You're a grown-up young man. You're working on it. How about you? What's your age? Yeah, you're mumbling. What's his age?
8 years.
8 years old. So do you remember when you were 4 years old? Probably not. But that's how old Krishna was. He was so, grown up for his age, so precocious, that he wanted to take care of the cows. And Nanda Maharaj said, no. The cows are so big. And he wanted to, how kids will get sometimes. They want. Okay, you can take care of the calves. And a lot of calves. A lot of cows and a lot of calves. So off they go. And what do 4-month-old boys do? They play. So we're going to hear 7 verses of what their play was like. This is verse number 4 of chapter 12. Although all these boys were already decorated by their mothers with ornaments of kacha, gunja, pearls, and gold, when they went into the forest, they further decorated themselves with fruits, green leaves, bunches of flowers, peacock feathers, and soft minerals. From Gopal Champu, this is a commentary on the Bhagavatam by Jiva Goswami in the form, a particular literary form called Champu. And those 2 fellows on the right and left, they're the narrators and the one who is asking the question. So Snigdhakanta and Madhukanta are their names. So Snigdhakanta asks, Madhukanta answers. Though the boys were beautiful because of the jewels, as they entered the forest, they ornamented their bodies with fruits and buds of trees and used a multitude of glass beads brought in packets from their houses after much pleading. very persuasive boys. Absorbed in playing, they did not consider that one thing was better than another. Only the miser, thinking of expense, sees with a critical eye. The carefree person, not considering expense, became joyful with what is pleasing. Next verse. All the cowherd boys used to steal one another's lunch bags. When a boy came to understand that his bag had been taken away, the other boys would throw it farther away to a more distant place, and those standing there would throw it still farther. When the proprietor of the bag became disappointed, the other boys would laugh. The proprietor would cry, and then the bag would be returned. Boys will be boys, right? They stole, this is from Gopal Champu again, very nice painting or illustration. They stole each other's sticks, flutes, and lunches. Considering it their own, they would throw the item far away. They would then bring the item back and offer it. They all engaged in suitable actions by the quick movements of Krishna's brow at every second, and knew nothing else. Next verse. Sometimes Krishna would go to a somewhat distant place to see the beauty of the forest. Then all the other boys would run to accompany him, each one saying, I shall be the first to run and touch Krishna. I shall touch Krishna first. In this way, they enjoyed life by repeatedly touching Krishna. This particular painting is showing Krishna stealing Madhu Mangal's lunch bag. Madhu Mangal is easy to pick out from the cowherd boys because he's got a shaved head. He's a Brahmin boy. Madhu Mangal is the son of Purnamasi. Purnamasi is Yogamaya personified in Krishna's Leela in Braj, Purnamasi, and she had a son. So both the mother and the son came to Vrindavan just around the time of Krishna's appearance because she has some service to do. Further commentary, this is Jiva Goswami. Krishna sent all the boys ahead to look for the calves and then went far off to see the beauty of the forest. They could not see him, Krishna, but they ran towards him, attracted by his fragrance, saying, I will catch him first. Having such pride, meaning not the material kind, but the transcendental kind, they felt great bliss. Though the boys were pure, they displayed pride to give pleasure to Krishna. Jiva Goswami. This is a verse from Brihat Bhagavatamrita. So attached to Krishna's company were the cowherd's little sons that they acted just like his shadow. If even for a moment they couldn't see him, if he sometimes went away on a whim, they were filled with distress. And when he returned, they would rejoice and rush to touch him. So there's Krishna with one cowherd boy putting his hands over his head because they're playing a game. Blind Man's Bluff, you've heard that one. Maybe you haven't heard that in India. It's a kid's game in America. There's a cowherd boy hiding up in a tree. There's a cowherd boy hiding behind a tree. And they're blindfolding Krishna and running this way, that way. Krishna's supposed to find all the cowherd boys. So sometimes Krishna couldn't be seen, and when Krishna couldn't be seen, they become filled with anxiety, transcendental anxiety, of course, and then he would return and they'd rejoice. Now here's a series of verses. You see the number? This is 7 to 11 from chapter 12. All the boys would be differently engaged. Some boys blew their flutes. Others blew bugles made of horn. Some imitated the buzzing of the bumblebees. Others imitated the voice of the cuckoo. Very nice painting, yes? Some boys imitated the flying of birds. This is a good painting. Flying of birds by running after the bird's shadow on the ground. Some imitated the beautiful movements and attractive postures of swans. Some sat down like with the ducks, sitting silently. And others imitated the dancing of the peacocks. Looks like Krishna's imitating the behavior of a frog, and Balaram's imitating the posture of the peacock. There's the boy on the left, he's moving like a bird flying in the air. Playful. Some boys attracted young monkeys in the trees. Some jumped into the trees, imitating the monkeys. Some made faces as the monkeys were accustomed to do. And others jumped from one branch to another. They're supposed to be herding the calves, but the real program was they would play, the calves were attached to Krishna, and the cowherd boys, they just tagged along. They didn't have to herd the calves. The calves were attached to the boys. Some boys went to the waterfalls and crossed over the river, jumping with the frogs. And when they saw their own reflections on the water, they would laugh. They would also condemn the sound of their own echoes. In this way, all the cowherd boys used to play with Krishna, who is the source of the Brahman effulgence for Gyanis, desiring to merge into that effulgence, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the devotees who have accepted eternal servitorship, and who for ordinary persons is but another ordinary child, indicating a very important teaching that comes many places in the Bhagavatam, 10th canto. Different persons perceive Krishna accordingly. A classic is when Krishna entered the wrestling arena. The wrestlers were there, and the ladies saw him this way, and the men saw him that way. Kamsa saw him in another way. You know, everyone saw him in a different way. The yogis saw him in another way. He's one entity, but perceived differently by different persons. And that's transcendental understanding. He's one entity. He's the supreme entity. And he's reciprocating with the desire, the aspirations of every living entity. So here's a very important verse that many of you have heard many, many times. Of course, this is a nice B.G. Sharma painting. There they are. They haven't had lunch yet. This is preempting. They didn't have lunch yet. Krita Punya Punja. This is in ecstasy as Shukadeva Goswami is narrating all of this from verse number 11 out of 12. He's speaking, how exalted are these cowherd boys? Because watching from the sky are the demigods. This is important. They're not participating, they're watching from a distance. But, you know, that's nice. If you could not just see a movie, but you could experience Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. Wow. But these are cowherd boys are playing with Krishna. The cowherd boys having accumulated the results of pious activities from many lives. This Krita Punya Punja. They were able to associate in this way with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can one explain their great fortune? So there's the verse. You see in yellow letters at the bottom, Krita Punya Punja. Then there's these other terms, color-coded a little bit. We're going to touch on each of these words, starting with the one at the very top. Itam satam brahma sukhana bhrutya. Satam is going to be our place of focus. Satam, according to the Bhagavatam commentaries, there are three types of satams: Jnanis, Bhaktas, and Karmis. Satam sometimes refers to those who have manifested the state of sat, of their highest swarup, or those who have the quality of sat because of closeness to Brahman. In either case, it refers to Jnanis. So Satam refers to Jnanis. Vishwanath writes, the inhabitants of Braja played with Krishna, who is knowledge and happiness of Brahman, for the Jnanis. So the Jnanis are the attached to the Sat feature of the Supreme. You're all familiar. Satchitananda, the three features of transcendence. So Satam are those who are attached to the Sat feature of the Supreme. Primarily that means the Jnanis. Then further commentary goes, there's two categories. You've heard these terminologies, Mayavadis and Brahmavadis. What's the distinction between a Mayavadi and a Brahmavadi? That's a good question, isn't it? The word Sat cannot apply to those Jnanis who think of the body and form of Krishna as material. That is the Mayavadi. So Mayavadi is one who thinks Krishna has body made of Maya, or form that's material, and beneath the form that's material is the real Krishna, the impersonal Brahman, Sat, Krishna. That's the Mayavadis. The Brahmavadis, there's Jnanis, have realization of Krishna as Brahman, but they cannot play with him. So they don't have this misconception of the form of Krishna as Maya. They have the understanding that Krishna is Brahman, and they respect Brahman like anything. That's their focus of interest. And so Brahmavadis look upon the form of Krishna as Brahman, whereas the Mayavadis look upon the form of Krishna as Maya. That's the distinction Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes. That it can be expanded further, but that's a very simple rendering. Then another term that's in this verse spoken by Shukadeva Goswami, it's like an outburst of ecstasy. He's just narrating the playing. Then he just goes into like an ecstasy moment and says, wow, how fortunate are these cowherd boys? Who can say how fortunate are these cowherd boys? Brahma Sukhana Bhrutya. Anubhuti means self-manifesting substance. See in the line up above, Sukha Anubhuti. So Sukha Anubhuti, that the happiness is self-manifesting. In contrast to dull matter, there's cause and effect. There's a nice harmonium, there's a nice mridanga, and this is a nice house, and there's any physical manifestation that's the effect of some prior cause. Someone took some earth, water, fire, air, and ether, mixed it together and made stuff. There's a person and there's the object. So it's not self-manifesting. But the happiness of the cowherd boys is self-manifesting. Sukhana Britya, Brahma Sukhana Britya, is spiritual happiness that's self-manifesting. That's these cowherd boys. They didn't go to school to learn how to play. Little boys don't need to go to school to learn how to play. They play. But they're playing with the Supreme Brahman. the Supreme Person. And so their happiness is on that standard. The conscious entity, namely the self-manifesting substance, is happiness. It gives happiness, since in its highest form of Atma, who is Krishna, it is the basis of the highest unconditional prema. So this is Jiva Goswami's explanation of Sukhanubhritya, Brahma Sukhanubhritya, Bhutya, Here it is called Brahman, or the greatest, since it is the highest Swarup for all the Brahmavadi Jnanis by appearing only in that form for them. One of the efforts of our commentators, in this case it's Jiva Goswami, is making distinctions. Like one of the primary feature of intelligence is to discern this from that. If you've ever taken an IQ test or thought about the questions they ask in an IQ test, generally it's multiple choice thing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and which is the one of the four doesn't fit. They're like trick questions. This is like, this is like, this is like, that one's unlike. And you identify the unlike one, it takes intelligence to discern one thing from another thing. That's a function of intelligence. And intelligence grows, just like a child, anamoya. Whatever's there around, it goes to the mouth. There's a shoe, goes to the mouth. Their brother's ear goes to the mouth. Anything goes to the mouth. Oral fixation, anamoya. And then you start to discern the difference between their brother's ear and food. The food goes in the mouth, their brother's ear doesn't go into the mouth. The shoe doesn't go in their mouth. So they start making distinctions. Gradations of it, and the higher gradation of distinction is matter and spirit. And then amongst the realm of spirit, Supreme Spirit. So the Brahmavadis have a spiritual conception, and they're experiencing satam, sukhanam, Brahma sukhanubhritya, that they're experiencing a spiritual happiness because of their fixation upon Sat. But the cowherd boys, they're not just fixation upon Sat, they're playing with him, the Supreme Person. He was easily recognized, Sukhanu Bhutya, as Atma Tattvam, or Brahman, by the liberated. He who exists in a state of mere existence, they consider that this is the highest goal. For the devotees, that's the jnanis. For the devotees, he is Bhagavan, the form of happiness, or prema bhakti, the most worthy worship. So what's going on here is there's an exclamation of ecstasy by Sukadeva Goswami, and our acharyas are having fun. They're looking at that verse through this lens, they're looking at the same verse through another lens, and they're looking at it through the highest lens. They want to take us to the highest because it's meant to communicate the highest. Sukadeva Goswami is not a Brahmavadi. Sukadeva Goswami is a pure devotee. So as he's narrating about Krishna, he's not excluding the Brahmavadis, but he's expressing that the highest form of prema bhakti. Then another word in this verse, pardon the extensive, the verse is loved very much. Those of you that have accustomed to hearing Srila Prabhupada recorded lectures, you know the phrase, because Prabhupada used it several hundreds of times. Krita punya punja. So much so that there's some God brothers that say they feel Prabhupada's Swarup, his spiritual form, is a cowherd boy. because Prabhupada used that phrase so often. He really admired, as Shukadeva Goswami really admired, the love of the cowherd boys, the intimacy of the cowherd boys with their lovable object Krishna. So there's a lot of commentary on this verse. It's an important verse in chapter 12, text number 11. Dasyam gatanam. Dasyam gatanam refers to all the genuine devotees other than the inhabitants of Braja. And those others, they see Krishna as worshipable. Gati means destination. So they're worshipping him. There's some that worship him as impersonalists, some that worship their devotees, that worship him as the supreme object, Dasyam Gatanam, but the devotees are playing with him, these cowherd boys. Dasya Bhaktas worship Krishna in reverence, but they're not qualified to play with Krishna. For devotees with Dasya Bhakti, he appears the most worshipable deity, full of all powers. Maya Shatanam. Very beautiful painting. Those involved in material happiness, Maya Shrita, they have Ashrita, they've taken shelter in Maya, they see him as an ordinary human being. Naradarakena. The karmis have no realization of Krishna, nor worship, since they have no respect for him. So what to speak of playing with him? Those who are covered by Maya think Krishna as a human child, since they have no jnana or bhakti. The cowherd boys have Krishna, close your eyes, we're going to put some of their lunch in your mouth, and they put a flower instead of lunch, and you're supposed to say, from the taste of what it is, what it was. And they're all laughing. It's playful boys. The boys did not play with Krishna in that form. The boys played with Krishna, who gave them his association because he was controlled by their prema. And that's a very important dimension, and it comes up in this whole chapter 12 when the cowherd boys enter the snake. And when they enter the snake, Krishna can't see them. It's so that it's a pastime, so he can experience astonishment because he's attached to them and they're attached to him, and he knows that they're attached to him, and they won't see him and he can't see them. Very special pastime, controlled by prema. Maya Shatanam Naradarakena. Taken in another sense, Maya Shatanam refers to Krishna's beloved gopis who worship the goddess Maya, Katyayani, with choice mantras. For the gopis who served Katyayani with great faith to attain Krishna, he appeared as a beautiful human child. Naradarakena. This is Sanatana Goswami. He appeared in this way to them because of their great prema. They couldn't have had the same prema, the same quality of prema, if they just saw him, if they saw him in a majestic way. Oh, he's the supreme, powerful. That wasn't their mood. They saw him as if he was like them, and they were attracted to him in that love of pure prema. Das Naradara. Krita Punya Punja. There's another childhood pastime of Krishna stealing butter with the cowherd boys. The Vrajvasis played with him. Though he is complete in bliss, they gave him more intense bliss in the pastimes of prema, and they also attained remarkable bliss in all ways. Therefore, more than all others, they were fortunate. Krita Punya. Vishwanath writes, Here, punya can only mean activities pleasing to the Lord and not material piety. Punya, commonly used, means pious activity, like whatever pious activity, opening hospitals, feeding the poor, helping the little old lady across the street, or doing something, an act of kindness for somebody else, people in a needy situation, a gentle act of kindness for them, which is fine. And to do that for the purpose of pleasing Krishna, that's transcendental punya. Activities pleasing to the Lord. Krita punya punya. Here's a verse. This is the one I was referring to. This is Krishna's entering the wrestling arena. Chapter 43, Canto 10. The various groups of people in the arena regarded Krishna in different ways. When he entered it with his elder brother, the wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, the men of Mathura as the best of males, the women as Cupid in person, the cowherd men as their relative, the impious rulers as a chastiser, his parents as their child, king of Bhojas as death, the unintelligent as the Supreme Lord's universal form, the yogis as the absolute truth, and the Vrishnis as their supreme worshipable deity. So none of these persons are Vrajvasis, because the Vrajvasis didn't see him that way. But they saw him the way they saw him because of the lens of their consciousness they saw accordingly. And different people have different positions and dispositions, and their regard for Krishna is different. But he's one entity. And so this particular verse that we spent so much time on, 10, 12, 11, emphasizes the heaps and heaps of pious activities performed. Here's Srila Prabhupada speaking on this point in a morning walk conversation. These boys, these cowherd boys, they have accumulated krita punya punja, heaps of pious activities. Therefore, they are now allowed to play with Krishna. Krita punya punja. Another reference is from Bhagavad Gita. After many lives of pious activities, they have come to this position, Krita punya punja, to understand Krishna and to engage in the service of the Lord. It requires a qualification. Esham tvantakatam papam jananam punya karmanam jananam punya. Those who are simply, this is the highest punya karma, to engage one's activities only in the service of Krishna. That is the greatest punya karma. You can see Prabhupada like this section of the Bhagavatam very much. Therefore, we forbid our students no illicit sex, etc., because these are pillars of sinful life. We have to give up these things to accelerate our promotion to devotional service. We cannot go on doing this and that at the same time. It is something like that. You ignite fire and pour water. It will be a useless attempt. If you want to burn the fire blazing, don't put water on it. Keep it dry. Esham tvantakatam papam. Jiva Goswami comments on this particular verse in this way. They had accrued heaps of piety. This is a mundane statement. Actually, they had piles of pure splendor, or punya, caused by the highest mercy of the Lord, who performs pastimes, krita. Amarakosh is a Sanskrit dictionary, says punya means splendor, or charu. That just this past weekend, Memorial Day weekend, but many devotees went. How many devotees here went to Orlando for the Sadhu Sangha? that same weekend, the day after the weekend, I think it was Memorial Day, there was a festival in honor of Bhakti Charu Swami, taking this word Charu. Charu means splendor, Bhakti Charu. Then Bhakti Charu Swami. So Charu means splendor, Punya means splendor, and the Splendoras, this is Jiva Goswami, they had Krishna's mercy, who is the purest splendor. They had his mercy, and with him they performed pastimes. With him they performed pastimes. That's his explanation, Krita Punya Punja. Again, Jiva Goswami, their priti as friends, with no restriction of reverence, expands at every moment because it's lack of restriction and its special nature with fullness. Krishna's heart responds to that, and accordingly, his friends realize the exceptional sweetness of his form, qualities, and astonishing pastimes. What more can be said? So he says some more. Like churning the ocean to get nectar, pastime from the 8th canto of Bhagavatam, such intimate love produces the highest sweetness and control of Krishna because of their sweet love. This is not seen in the Jnani or the devotee with reverence. It's a philosophical, it's a tattva, and it's a rasa topic. Just streaming from this pastime, the childhood pastimes of the boys playing. Our acharyas are extracting gold and diamonds and jewels from these simple verses of chapter 12. Punya refers to bhakti as in dharmo mad bhakta krita prokta. Dharma is performing bhakti to me. This is drawn from Uddhava Gita, 11th canto. The boys must have performed lots of hearing as sadhana. Very nice painting. Krishna's playing his flute underneath a tree. The boys are enjoying just hearing Krishna's flute, completely in trance, charmed by the sound of Krishna's flute. This could also mean they did piles of meditation on the Lord in Satya Yuga. Now, the word krita, just like Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga, correct? Sometimes they're interchangeable. Krita Yuga, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. But sometimes it's Krita. Krita can mean Satya Yuga. So the cowherd boys for a long time, piles and piles and piles, meditation in Satya Yuga. They did meditation on the Lord in Satya Yuga. They had accomplished, or Krita, piles of anurag. This Sanatana Goswami, taking the words of this verse, we're still on that same verse. It's such an important verse. The gopis, rati, was not fulfilled during the day because of separation, and even at night was not fulfilled with comfort compared to these cowherd boys, because the cowherd boys were with Krishna all day long. Who's more fortunate? Well, he's placing an argument. Cowherd boys. Then you can ask, but it's just, it's appreciating the special, triple special mercy of this cowherd boys, because they were with Krishna all day long. And and how did they achieve? By meditation upon Krishna since Satya Yuga. That's a long time to meditate. And piety, transcendental piety, and all these nice explanations of the language. Here's a reference from Canto 6. Maharaj Parikshit speaking to Shukadeva Goswami. O great sage, greater are Jivan Mukta, and greater than those who attain liberation is the devotee of Lord Narayana. This is the majestic feature of meditation. Such a devotee who is in Shanta or other rasas is very rare, even among 10 million people. So Jiva Goswami points to this verse and said, however, the cowherd boys are even more rare. Got it? Those who are liberated from their position of jnana, they're experiencing shanta and other rasas, but they're very, very, very rare amongst 10 million people, very rare and more rare, the cowherd boys. Among these types of friends, this type of friendship does not exist. They are greater than others. That is, there's friendship that's outside of Vrindavan. And then there's friendship within Vrindavan. And the friendship that's within Vrindavan, just like Bhaktosime Sakacheti, we all know the verse. Krishna says to Arjuna, I'm telling you this teaching because you're my bhakta and you're my friend, you're Sakha. Bhaktosime Sakha. So the friendship of Arjuna with Krishna is diminutive compared to the friendship with the cowherd boys. Because they didn't have any sense of his majestic feature. He was just very, very sweet and very dear and very playful. This is Jiva Goswami and Priti Sandarbha. Therefore, the good fortune of these friends who play directly with Krishna is because of special friendship with intimacy. Now there's a Sanskrit term, pranaya. Pranaya Kelly, you've heard that phrase? Pranaya. It's friendship with intimacy. And that's what we see in this nice painting. There's Krishna resting. He's laying his head on the lap of one of the cowherd boys, and some are fanning him, and some this and that, and the other massaging his legs and plucking flowers for him. So it's a kind of sweetness that is superlative. There isn't something better. And there's many, many verses, a long list, that Rupa Goswami and other acharyas referred to. This very verse. We're spending a lot of time because it's an important verse and often referred to. Here's Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 124. He makes this reference. Somehow or other, whether one thinks Krishna as an ordinary human child, or as the source of Brahman effulgence, or the origin of Paramatma, or as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should concentrate one's full attention upon the lotus feet of Krishna. So the cowherd boys were in that position spontaneously. You know from the first three verses of the Bhagavatam, the essence of the Bhagavatam is there. Here's a reference to one of those. Ishvara sadhya hridya avarudya tetra kritabi shushurbi tatkshanat. Diverting even a little of one's attention toward Krishna and activities in Krishna consciousness immediately enables one to achieve the highest perfection of life. So why are we doing all of this? We're doing all of this because we want to draw our attention to Krishna. The whole of the Bhagavatam is with that purpose. The whole of the Vedas is with that purpose, and certainly the Bhagavatam is very focused. And these chapters of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan are very, very special. This is from Canto 1, Chapter 7. Lokasya janato vidvang chakre satvata samhita. The secret of success is unknown to people in general, and therefore Srila Vyasadeva has given us the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's from Prabhupada's purport to this verse, 10, 12, 11. If one adheres to these two books, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, one is sure to obtain the association of Krishna in the next life. Stay with it. Follow in Prabhupada's footsteps. Therefore, the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world is a great welfare activity for the theologians, philosophers, transcendentalists, and yogis. This is the Krita Punya Punja. Do a lot of that. You make it Krishna's association in Braja. Or go directly to the spiritual world. Now this is a poster created for Bhadra Purnima, and not too far away is Bhadra Purnima. No harm in saying Ra Ra Ra, Srimad Bhagavatam, distribution of sets of Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. 2 weeks ago, I was in ISV, this ISKCON, Silicon Valley, the very sweet temple that Vaisheshika Prabhu established and has built to its bursting at the seams. They're too small for their congregation. And I was supposed to give the Sunday morning class, so he has his friend up first. Can you say 3 sentences about the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam? I said 3 sentences. He said, just say 1. I said, no, 3 sentences is too little. And they're already, that was, some weeks ago, already promoting Srimad Bhagavatam sets. And guess who's number 1 in North America in Srimad Bhagavatam sets? And there's a reason. And because it's beneficial not only for the person who's receiving, for the person who's giving, and it's the mission of our disciplic succession and assisting our spiritual master. For what did our spiritual master want? That people would become happy. And how to make people happy? Take away the illusion and replace illusion with reality. And how do you do that? Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and chanting to the 2. Chanting and hearing. Shravanam Kirtanam. Hearing about what? Krishna. That's why we're doing what we're doing, by the way. It's preparing ourselves for this ultimate destination of all souls, so we don't have to continue taking birth in the material world. Look at this. This is verse number 12 out of this series. We didn't get so far, but here's verse number 12. And there's a few words in colored letters, yellow and blue. We're going to take a little bit of time to cover these terms. Yogis, this is following that Krita Punya Punja verse, yogis may undergo severe austerities and penances for many births. Yet, in due course of time, when these yogis attain the perfection of controlling the mind, they will still be unable to taste even a particle of dust from the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. What then can we describe about the great fortune of the inhabitants of Brajabhumi Vrindavan, with whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally lived and who saw the Lord face to face? And we're hearing about is in preparation for seeing face to face. Jiva Goswami writes, not even considering the great fortune of their constant playing with the Lord, great souls cannot even attain the fortune of seeing Krishna, which all the people of Vraja see. This is one of his childhood pastimes, playfully crawling about in a courtyard, seeing a calf, grabbing the tail of the calf gets startled and starts to run, and Krishna holds onto the tail of the calf and goes for a ride. And the gopis are, no, no, and he's, yes, yes. And then they have to go bathe him in cow urine and give him a bath and say sacred mantras to protect him from any ill fortune, and they treat him as if he's one of us. Yogis cannot even see a grain of dust from his feet. This means that they cannot establish any sort of relationship with him. They cannot see from far away even a ray of the devotees who drink by gazing at the Lord's feet. Pada, pa. Pada, pa. Pa means to drink. Pada, pa. They drink his feet. How do you drink someone's foot? Prema. Because they have prema, they're able to associate with Krishna's lotus feet and as if being nourished by water. Like, a tree takes water from his foot. Pada pa. So they're like that because of their prema for Krishna. And that's the end of part 2. Yay. So we have 2 more parts to this pastime. It's so nice. I like this pastime. And I like the chapter that follows this pastime and the chapter that follows that chapter. It's a wonderful section. It's so easy to get immersed in the topics of Krishna. Who knows? Maybe you'll have dreams tonight about Krishna in Vrindavan with the cowherd boys, and how fortunate are they? And just by hearing, it's the beginning of remembering. Smarana. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. If you're very fortunate. But it has everything to do with the quality of our hearing, not just the quantity of hearing. So because it's already 8:15, and we have to have arti for the deities, and it's nice to have some questions and answers, could somebody do something about the children making that noise in the back? Somehow they became quiet. Something happened.
They heard you.
They heard me? You think so? You think so?
Maybe Krishna made them hear.
Okay. Okay. So, a few questions and then Arti and Haribol. It's time to end for the evening. Thank all of you for coming. Many of you came on time. Haribol, thank you very much. And those who came because you had other responsibilities, thank you also for coming. Any comments? Yes. Yes, you got your hand up. You can speak? You want the microphone?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for a wonderful explanation. I have 2 questions. One is, we heard that you're saying absolute truth. Krishna was seen by different people in different ways.
Yes.
So how can we, because they say this is absolute truth is relative, and how can we say the ultimate reality is Krishna in person? Because Jnanis see as Brahman, and they may say, oh, this is the ultimate. How can we...
You want to know how to discern the difference between how a jnani sees and how a devotee sees?
The ultimate is, I think, we see as a person. How can we make them understand? They may say as, okay, this is relative, but whatever we are seeing is...
This is too complicated. I can't follow what you're asking, and there's a little distraction on top of it. So, jnanis see in a certain way, devotees see in varieties of ways. So what's going to determine which way we see Krishna? That's your question? No.
So how can we argue with
You don't have to argue.
Okay.
The best argument is your character. Achar speaks stronger than prachar. I'm just being, practical. You can, when you have an opportunity, depends on the person. This past Saturday, this past weekend, I was at 26 Second Avenue, and there was somebody in the audience that was their first time to be at any ISKCON function. And they sat and listened, and it turned out they were a student of Ayurveda, a Western girl, student of Ayurveda, apparently taught by a Mayavadi or Brahmavadi or an impersonalist at least. And so we went around and around and around and around and around, trying to be patient. She was very polite, but she was very stuck on I'm God. Or, not being able to see a distinction between, in love, yes, that's the highest. But for love, there's two. There's the love, the abode of love, ashraya, and vishaya, the object of love, and the exchange of love between the two. It had to be one, because she just couldn't get her mind around two. It's one. So, we left, we smiled, gave her Bhagavad Gita, let's see what happens. But sometimes prachar doesn't go anywhere. You can't say something, that depends on the person, but a very simple one is, everyone understands the highest is the happiness of a loving relationship in this world, and there's such a thing as the highest of loving relationships from which this world comes. It depends on the person. Then love means two. The object and the subject. We're the subject. And the object is the Supreme. So we in agreement there is a Supreme. But there's the highest and that dealing with the Supreme is love. So that requires two. And there's two. They were speaking Dvaitavad, but there's beyond Dvaitavad, and we don't go there with such people yet, not right away. Depends on the person. When a person is sincere and they hear the truth, then it may be, like this individual, it was no. And some individual maybe, let me think about it. And some individual says, yes, I accept. So what you say can vary depending upon the situation. And most important is what you're carrying within yourself, the character and quality of your achar, your achar, your character. And that's persuasive, more so than your words, with most people. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I see a hand up. Can we give her the microphone? She has an idea to have other people here.
Thank you for the session today. So my question is, when I'm looking at all the pictures where Krishna is associating with all the cowherd boys.
Yeah.
So my thought is what's the difference between Nitya Baddhas and Nitya Siddhas, and who were
What's the difference between what and what?
Nitya Baddhas.
Nitya Baddhas?
And Nitya Siddhas.
Okay.
And cowherd boys were which one of them?
Okay.
And what was their journey? So you kind of explained how in Satyayug and how they did the journey. But then where are we on that plane? And we are in Kali Yuga, and where are we going from here? So
that's a nice question.
Something inspiring for us.
This could take a whole class to answer your question.
Something inspiring for us that says it is possible.
Oh, it's possible. Well, let's put it this way. There's a sadhana, because you asked Nitya Siddha, Nitya Baddha, there's a sadhana to become perfect. And it's not fairy tale, or it's not trick. It's not now you see it, now you don't. It's just, getting you to do stuff so we'll take advantage of you or something like that. It's real. Our acharyas don't fiddle around with fiction. And again and again, and the authority for the acharyas is Scripture. And Scripture points to eternal reality, eternal truth, absolute truth. That's what the Scripture points to. So is it certainly it's possible. There's a sadhana to get there. And then without detailing what the sadhana to get there, were you here for this last Thanksgiving holiday?
Yes, I was there.
Okay, so there's the answer to that question. From Shraddha to Prema, and it's possible. So it's possible. Now, then your loaded question had several parts. One of them was, we don't become, those cowherd boys will hear as the pastime goes on. There are eternal cowherd boys. And there are those that become assistants to the process that Rupa Goswami gives for sadhakas, that's you and me, where we may practice to become like and look up to Mother Yasoda or Nanda Maharaj or the gopis, but we don't become one of Krishna's gopis. We become assistants to the gopis. We become assistants to the eternal cowherd boys. The same mood, the same everything, but not the eternal associates. The eternal associates one can't become Mother Yasoda. Sorry, Charlie, you can't become Mother Yasoda. But you can become an assistant of Mother Yasoda, and there's so many assistants of Mother Yasoda, etc. So they're eternal associates, And then there's those that become like the eternal associates through process of sadhana, raga, nuga, sadhana, bhakti. And you absorb your thoughts on the ragatmika, the eternally perfected souls, and you become like them, and you assist them. Dasa, dasa, anudas. That's our path. And does it lead to perfection? Yes. And it's not like, okay, he's an eternal cowherd boy, you're a little guy. There's not that kind of pecking order. But the tattva is what the tattva is. One can become sadhana siddha. But the nitya siddhas aren't the same as the sadhana siddhas. But they're like the same. Their sameness is in the spiritual realm. And there's Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu to expand on that one. I'll take one more question, then we're going to have Arti. So Arti, you're ready with Arti?
We're going to just take 1 minute to move these things. So
Okay. Okay, please do that. 1 minute. One more question. No more question. You hear? Okay. There's 2 more questions. Go ahead. Yes, you're pointing to yourself. She's got the microphone, but behind you comes next. You go.
Yes. Hey Krishna Maharaj, while seeing Krishna's lotus feet in the Vrindavan, I was just thinking, if I am not wrong, it is mentioned somewhere, Krishna never put his lotus feet in the material world.
The aluminum foil is making more noise than you. So say it again.
Krishna never puts his lotus feet in the material world.
What happens in the material world about Krishna's lotus feet?
he never puts his feet in the
Oh, okay, so go to the spiritual world. Or he'll come and make the material world spiritual world. Wherever Krishna puts his feet.
I read somewhere, but I'm not sure where I read.
He doesn't come to the... He enters But he transcendentalizes or spiritualizes this place and it becomes spiritual. It's like, the deity. Or, anything that's in this world. It's an extension of the spiritual world. Or it becomes the extension of the spiritual world by the touch of the personality of Godhead. Yes? Does that answer your question?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Last question. You get the last question.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, very nice seminar and class. You shared how everyone sees Krishna, right? But when we chant or we pray to Krishna, is there a way we should feel or see? Or any way we feel and see is just the prema? I think the last part, but I want to know the right part.
They're both are right.
Okay.
You want to say this one is right and that one's wrong?
No, I just want to know what's right. Maybe what I'm thinking is
They're
not
both
right.
right.
Okay.
If I've understood your question, they're both right.
Okay.
You can look through this lens, it's the same, or look through that lens. It's not like this lens is right, therefore that lens is not right. They're both right. How do we know? Take the authority of our acharyas and follow them, and then you know you're right. Does that answer your question or no? I'm not sure if I understood your question. That's why I'm asking. Have I answered your question?
You answered one part, so I will try following the acharyas to see if I'm on the right path towards
Yeah.
Krishna.
Always.
Always.
Forever.
Forever. Thank you.
Okay, Hare
Thank you, sir.
Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki